So my dear Aries, this is your reading for the month of Pisces. That means the sun has moved into Pisces, and so the sun is in the moon. And you are in the moon, which is in the sun. So very interesting what's happening here, that the subconscious is where the head is, where you are the head, right? That's your body part. You are Aries. You are connected with Mars, the planet of fire and war and action. And here the moon is the subconscious, is deep down that desire to evolve. But this is the evolution of the path of love. Nevertheless, we have also Mars, planet Mars, that sometimes pushes us to fight for the things that we love. This is the 12th house of loss of self, and this is the first house of self. Now, you are challenged to look through the sun deep into your subconscious, which you are in right now. You are in the moon. You are being pushed deeply to look at yourself, look at your actions, look at why you're sitting here in this armor. What are you protecting? Particularly we see the feet, which is connected with Pisces. Pisces are the feet. Very interesting, right? So then the yoga position for Pisces is Pisces and upward and downward facing dog. The evolution that is happening through recognizing that we have the desire to come out of the water, then evolve out of the wolf into the dog, and then evolve further these two towers up into the sky. And that's what the age of Aquarius is bringing. Pisces was the age that we were in for 2,150 years. And now we're going into the age of Aquarius, which is an air sign. So we are taking this path, and that is pushing you now to look at yourself really on a deep level. For you, I gave you meditation. Meditation is what helps us to access the brain, the mind, and see what we need to see so that we can evolve, that we can shift and change through this path of love. Then the court card for you is the Queen of Wands. If your birthday is between March 12th and April 9th, this is your court card. If not, look in the description below. I have listed all the cards that I have here and the decks that I'm using, and of course all the court cards. Then I want you to see quickly this picture. Here you see how the Earth is spinning to the right 24 hours around its own axis. Meanwhile, it's spinning also around the sun in 365 days. That's all right spinning. And those are the readings that you're getting through the year, right? Once a month. And then once a year, you get a left spinning reading on your full moon, which you have in your opposite sign, which is Libra. And that's when you get your full moon reading to the left spinning. Left spinning means from deep within to the outside, and right spinning means from the outside to the deep within. Left spinning is the soul path, and right spinning is the human path. Then I want you to also reconnect to the last reading where Aquarius Sun was highlighting Aries Moon. The message was a brave heart is now needed to the fact that globalization is over. So you had the King of Wands, you had the Elephant, and you had here the radical acceptance. Very powerful, very strong message already there of, yes, accepting what is, accepting that we are influenced in small ways, but also in very big ways, and we are going from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. But now we see what Pisces, your subconscious, is wanting to tell you through this reading. So let's begin. On the position of the Fool, which is this foolish idea, comes the Knight of Pentacles. And all the knights are action-oriented, want to do something because they always have fire, respective with the element here. It's fire and earth. And you can see how he is facing the left spinning path, so is the Fool. And that means this is your soul speaking to you and letting you know, please take action on the material plane. Take action of whatever it is that you need to take action. It's this soul calling. And Virgo is all about health, is all about you now understanding that you only can take care of you. And this is the action that Virgo is bringing to you, right? To you as the Aries energy. Then comes on the position of the Magician. This curse, the number 14, which turns into a 5. So the one connecting to the Magician, that clear thought, that magic thought into the 4, into the responsibility. You are the responsibility. You are the one that takes care and leads and is the leader, and sometimes even fights. Now the curse is a curse. So what's the curse? You know, I hope, because then calculated together it becomes a 5, which is then a spiritual message behind it through the Hierophant. So there is a curse, and we can see there is a female face where a hand with the 5, right, fingers, the 5 senses, is holding her mouth close and shut. And I think this is that the female empowerment is happening more and more, because if you look at yourself, you sit here with open legs, and a lot of men don't like that. They don't like that we are free and that we are liberated. And because you are a queen, you are now taking action in that regard, that we have to liberate. And this is an inspiration that is coming to you through the Magician, through the one, that you are now looking deeper into this. And you're taking action on the material plane, on the physical plane. And then comes on the position of the High Priestess, the 10 of Swords. And we always have to look at the cards next to a curse, or now the 10 of Swords, which is the end of the dark night of the soul, which is, right, really here it's called the Lord of Ruin. Here is a failure that is speaking to you, and this is the state of consciousness of your intuition. That's what the High Priestess brings to you. Intuitive, you know, that here speaks something very powerful to you, and this is the Sun in Gemini. And you see 2 swords crossing each other, which is the dualities, right? Well, the male and female. and the union that they're creating by crossing. And then you have 8 swords crossing from the side, and those swords are all broken. And then here you have like this sign of something happening here in this crossing, and the sun here and the Gemini symbol. And so this curse has to do with the fact that we do not always listen to our intuition, that we even get ridiculed, and that this is the sign that you gotta really listen deep to the fact that these 2 swords are these 2 black and white pillars, and that you let go of all the other 8 swords, all the other 8 thoughts, and allow just these 2 thoughts, because Gemini's symbolism looks like 2, because it's the Gemini, it's the twins. And so you are called to go deep within yourself and to recognize here that this curse is about the fact that we see male and female as separate, and that the male has to incorporate the female in himself, and that the female has to incorporate the male within herself to create a deeper peacefulness here on earth. And then comes, on the position of the Empress, again a 14, the Temperance, Sagittarius, the Archer, the guardian angel that is now showing us how we must keep giving and taking between the golden cup and the silver cup, between the masculine and the feminine. And then the curse can be lifted. Then you have a 5-5 portal here, and here's the 10. And then you understand that here is a very important message ripening in your head, ripening in your consciousness. The 14-14 is then a 5-5. Recognize the creativity in the way you solve problems, and recognize that the magic responsibility is what creates the solution. Magic finding through the 4, always the 4 is, right, your responsibility of being a leader, of beginning the new cycle, beginning the new year. And then comes you. You have now understood that in your brain, and you're looking to the right spinning cycle and recognize what you got to do to uplift this curse. Unite constantly and make it an art, because creativity is then art, and through art we can show that we uniting constantly these creative opposites, right? The masculine and the feminine, these 2 swords that cross each other and create then something. And so you are inspired to go and create something. And what are you creating? On your position comes the number 6, the Lovers. Self-love. Self-love first and foremost, because you can see how he is facing her as the right spinning, and she is facing him as the left spinning. The soul is looking at the human and is saying, love yourself, love me dearly, human, because then you really know what it's all about. That the outer world inspires the inner, and the inner inspires the outer. That's the true union, and you are feeling that. You are recognizing that as that 6 that is coming to you, and you are looking at that. And this is what you want. You want this love. You want this union, which is these 2 people are here now in the 2 cups, and they're giving and taking and giving and taking forever. Then comes on the position of the Wheel of Fortune, which is a quiz of life, that she is now ready to recognize that, yes, here I have found a deep love within myself. So now I can continue this path. I can continue, right? She is looking at her as well and saying, okay, now I want to capture this feeling through the arts and uplift the curse the women have been in through the arts. And this is in a way artistic as well, to show how women have been silenced for too long, and now it's necessary to take action, and you are taking action slowly but steadily. And then you're looking here through this camera, and you have the ideas. Through this union you get the idea, because here comes the observer, the number 5. So then we have a 5, 5, 5 portal, 3 times 5. About the theme of self-love, connecting deeply to love. 3 times 5 is, then you feel empowered. Empowered in the spiritual path, the messages that are coming, and recognize that even these kind of messages are the end. It's the 10, it's the end, it's a new one. It's the end of suffering, of difficulties, that we're having a new perspective, and that we want to see that perspective. We want now to look at the 5 and the 0, the action that you have taken through the 0, through the health that you also want, a healthy relationship. And then what are you looking at here on the position of the Hanged Man? The state of change and enlightenment in your head. It's the yogi standing on his head. Comes the Lemurian crystal, and it's the number 30. And it's interesting because this is the 12th major arcana, so it's becoming a 3. There is the 1, the magician, and the 2, the high priestess, 2 of the most powerful people in the whole deck, a couple as well. And through the couple we find the union within us. And so here you're looking at this key, you're looking at this solution, the Lemurian crystal. And we have 1, 2, 3 keys, but there's 1 left, and that's the 4th. So you take responsibility for yourself, and you're looking through this camera, and you're recognizing that now comes a time, an important time. Then the Lemurian crystal is saying visions, to see in bigger pictures, the secret of infinite possibilities, and the possibility to now envision something really grand, that you are able to create with a higher force. And there is the moon, and the moon is in your sign, And so you are envisioning through the camera, you are focusing into what it is that you can find in your heart, because the number 4 is also the heart chakra. Wow, what a message, right? So the 3 becomes the new 4. The 3 on the position of the Empress, you got here the Temperance, that the lovers have now become now just the giving and taking, the giving and taking. And of course you had the 6, and the 6 is always the 2 3s coming together, the triangles facing up and the other triangle facing down, the hexagram. And then comes on the position of the Tower the Bee, an air sign, and the Bee is speaking to you directly, because I put in this card the Bee and the number 6 of their structure is giving you now the understanding that to be empowered like the Queen Bee, right? The Queen Bee is, you're the Queen Bee, and you give power to the people, and you are recognizing that the way you've been leading, the way you've been the emperor, is falling apart, because the Tower is Mars. This 7 is let go of that kind of thinking, the old way of thinking, the emperor. You are now becoming more, through meditation, empowered, and see how she is coming from the soul perspective to you and speaking to you, and you see her. You see the Bee. You always see what comes from the soul in your path over to the humanness. And the key to your heart, right, is the air, which is the heart chakra, is an air sign. And the Bee comes and teaches you how to recognize now the shift in those kind of energies, the shift that already has happened in the 10 of Swords. And then comes on the position of Pisces, the Moon, the Strength card. And here in the Marseille Tarot, it is the number 11. And we know that some schools made it the number 8 and some school made it the number 11. But she has the 8 as a symbol of her head, and she's touching the mouth of the lion. And this is Leo coming and giving you the strength to go the path of humanness, the 11 portal. And the 11th portal with this one helps you to be really strong in how the mind can influence us, how these thoughts through the age of Aquarius is a lot of mental activity. So this is very important, that we learn how to meditate, that we learn how to quiet the mind. And she quiets her desire of that wild and crazy side in her. And you have that in you too. You have these open legs. You are wild and passionate and sexual, like the Bee. She gives birth to all the workers. There's a lot of strength here that is speaking directly to you. And then you get an oracle card, still on the position of the Moon, comes here, the unmarked trail. The revelation is now that you have to walk this path alone, and you have to continue. You get the number 57, which becomes a 12 and a 3. Again, back to the Empress, you had here the 14, which becomes a 5, and you have the 5 in here. right? Again, remember the 5 is always the test, but it's also the knowledge and the wisdom that we get through our spiritual practice, through the higher friend, through the high priest. And this path that you're taking is a path of not knowing where it's going to bring you. It's a path that no one has ever taken. That's then the success behind it, a true success. You don't have another 7, but you have through the Tower, which brought the B, which is a 7, that the success is now to take a path that you don't know where it's going to lead you. And that's important, very important to you, because this is the dream oracle on the position of the moon, and the moon leads our dreams. And here it's saying an unprecedented experience, discovery, and revelation. You're called now to embark on a sacred journey. The Arthurian knights, in their quest for the Holy Grail, had to make sure to take an unmarked trail that no one had ever followed, or they would not accomplish their goal. Likewise, you must enter the darkest forest of your soul via a route as yet unidentified to find what you seek. The manicured paths will bring you only temporary pleasure and later great pain. And the Arthurian quest for the Holy Grail is the Knight of Cups, is Pisces. And so Pisces is through the sun and through the moon pushing you to look deep into this self-love that you need to accomplish to take a path like that. A deep self-love, right? Because on the position of the Emperor came the Lovers. And so now on the position of the moon, which is in your sign, you getting the strength to take this unmarked path to find the Holy Grail. And then on the position of the sun, which is in Pisces. And then, of course, Pisces is the moon as well in your sign. Comes this pressure that you have to go through, a pressure, the number 26, because the sun is the clarity and the moon is the subconscious. And through this path that we don't know where we're going, deep from the subconscious, we take this path up into the air, and it's this unknown for a water sign. It's like, wow, where am I going? I don't know. But I take the path, and even if I go through this big transformation, the 2 and the 6, right? The 2, which is what came up on the High Priestess, the 10 of Swords, this mental energy, but I just have to focus on the 2 swords that cross each other. That's all there is in this dimension. And out of that I can make a 1. And then the 6, I have to find the self-love, really truly self-love, because here the force that has come to you through Pisces is giving you then the 8 in the head, the infinite loop, because the 2 and the 6 then together creates the 8, and through that pressure I go into a transformation, a deep transformation. Huge transformation. Wow, I mean, this is really, really intense. And then on the last 2 cards, now we have the last judgment, which is the new zeitgeist, the new aeon that is speaking to you, comes here almost like this bird is liberating itself out of her head, and she is facing the soul path, and you are arriving at her, and then she's turning one more time around and is saying, yes, you can do that. You can uplift yourself into the new zeitgeist, into the age of Aquarius, into the air, into the spirit of the air. And then here comes direction. Then you get the direction. Yes, mentally you go into the right spinning path, but your soul knows to reconnect constantly with yourself. Switch gears, reboot, and try a new and different direction. The number 39, which then becomes a 12, right? And the 12 again is then a 3. The 12, the 1 and the 2, which you had on the position of the Hanged Man. You had the Lemurian crystal, the 3, so this is a 3-3, but you have to find here yourself. You have to find here the key, and so that's why the path continues. And it continues into the last position, the World, the Lovers again, the self-love. It's all about you are in this reading learning to love yourself truly and deeply, because she is the World. Now the 21, again, reverse of the 12 here, as then the High Priestess first, and then the 1, the Magician. Intuitive, you using your magic, right? Intuitive, you're using that which is needed to find self-love. And then here on the 12, right, the magic brings the intuition. So we reverse the way we can speak about it. And here you go into this new way and recognize now, if I want to close it, that yes, the Virgo, the deeper look within, is seeing now the Lovers and is recognizing that he is the 6th zodiac sign, Virgo, and through a Virgo or yourself are now bringing yourself to the Virgo state of being, is recognizing the 666 portal. I'm just going to put this down, that here is a 666 portal. I think this is going to be in front of the cover. The 666 portal is like deep self-love. You recognize now that there is being healthy and being on a spiritual path brings happiness to this outer path, because it's so all empowering, the outer path, right? The human path, because we see it and so we think this is it. And so then you can uplift this curse. Then you can uplift always that you find deep within the giving and taking to yourself. And then you recognize that the observer sees again here this loving energy. Maybe I actually taking this as the cover in the front. You are truly wanting to find self-love, and you document that through the arts, because the arts came up on the position of the Empress. The arts, right? The art of bringing this into a union, giving and taking, the silver and the gold. Wow, what a beautiful message. I hope I see you in the next one, because then turns the earth in such a way that we see behind the sun the constellation Aries. And so on the position of Aries came the Lovers. And I think you're gonna find true self-love in your next reading, because that's when you're gonna get your new moon reading, right? That's where you're gonna see deeply and closely that the new moon and the sun are both in your sign, and so that's where the masculine and the feminine will give you that kind of message. Wow. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.